Hi there, nice to meet you. It's a beautiful day, I can see that you're new. Alright, let me share with you today a little character that I made up. Alright, I call this guy the Coach. Are you ready? Are you ready, son? Alright, now, when he was a little kid, he was heavily bullied and neglected by his own family. You see, his family were all strong, true artists who had powerful offensive abilities and came from a decorated and rich noble family of powerful military warriors. However, the coach's true art was one that was seen as weak. Motivation, which is a power that can buff and motivate someone beyond the layered limits to keep fighting. Since his actual combat ability itself was quite low, the coach was kicked out of his harsh, unloving home with nary a penny to his name when he became 18. When his own father decided he didn't need to take care of him anymore, and even provide him a future, then expected him to provide for himself or die on the streets. The coach was embittered by his life, but he needed a way to make a living, so he decided to join an underground fighting ring in Eartheye's seedy underbelly in the human plane, which was run by Kingpin 10, a local crime boss. The crime boss's followers first thought was to laugh at him, but Kingpin 10, however, saw potential. He said, "If you can find a way to make our newest fighter, a fresh blood known as Mortex, into a fearsome fighting force with your skill, you have a place in our organization." The coach taking it as a personal challenge on the night of the big fights. When Mortis was starting his bouts against the champion, who was one of the toughest, meanest fighters with the blood of the elemental of the martial art of martial power in him, used his skill on Mortex. And Mortex became powerful enough to defeat the champion due to it, and much to many of Kingpin's henchmen surprise, but not to Kingpin 10 himself, who bet on Mortex because he had a feeling things would swing this way. Mortex himself even became close to the coach, and Kingpin 10 made the coach into his personal trainer on top of helping hooligans his gang rake in a dough by fixing sporting events, which led to Mortex himself becoming a brutal, muscular, dark heel who hospitalized many of its opponents known as the which led to Mortex himself becoming the brutal, muscular, dark heel who hospitalized many opponents known as the Hell and become known as the Hellcats, which wasn't bad for someone whose former life was shattered because he beat his opponents bloody back in the pro wrestling circuits. It was true that the coach discovered it was due to, all this that the coach discovered he could not only motivate people to push beyond their limits, but also found he could use his skills to demotivate people and essentially break their spirits and morale as well, which impressed Kingpin 10, who pushed him to use it for much darker purposes outside of the underground fighting rings and sporting events, and have the coach become something of a torturer, not one who could break bones or threaten with violence, but break spirits, which Kingpin 10 saw was effective. Because of his contributions to the hooligans, the coach, alongside with his good friend and muscle Mortex, became a fearsome force for them, and even made them tons and tons of dough. Even when superheroes started to interfere with Kingpin 10's business, the coach and Mortex, having grown stronger and much more powerful, and developing stronger ways to use their true arts, managed to repel many of them, with Mortex breaking backs and bodies, and the coach breaking spirits and wills, and even leaving several soups crying on the floor and even throwing in a towel against his power. The coach got a sense of sadistic joy from this, and mostly due to his harsh life and his transformation from a weak, penniless greenhorn into a powerful and respected figure in the crime world. Even when Kingpin 10 and his cronies did eventually get jailed and defeated, the coach and Mortex would go on to free them under the mysterious benefactor, who was organizing a big joint venture with the other crime figures, and became instrumental in getting the hooligans to join Octopus 8. Which I will do, backstory on Octopus 8, sometime later in the future. In fact, Kingpin 10 was actually pretty moved by their loyalty and the opportunity because of it, and made the coach and Mortix into his right and left hand respectively. In the end, the crime boss became like the father the coach wished he had, which is sad and unfortunate now. Alright, I should give a bit of context about Kingpin 10. He's a local crime boss that rules like a bunch of criminals that, have a bit of a sports team. And, his own true art is, the true art of bowling. Yeah, if you see Kingpin 10, just kind of, he kind of looks a little bit like, the Q-Balls in, Pokemon Gen 1. Yeah, only, and if he were mixed with like Bowling Man from Mega Man Battle Network. And also Mortex, he's like a dark heel fighter that's kind of inspired by more brutal fighters such as the IRL example of Kane, as well as characters like Odio Bright, in Light Up for Life, as well as, as well as, shit, what was that one Pokemon theme? Yeah, oh, fuck. Fucking hell, yeah, alright now. It's the one that evolves from Litten, yeah, fuck, what was that again? Darn it. Yeah, that one, alright now. Yeah, the big cat, yeah. Alright, I'm sorry, I forgot. Oh well. Yeah, malicious moon salt. Darkest layer, yeah. Anyway, see you later. Goodbye. Goodbye, and alright, goodbye. And now, thank you. I love you so much. Now remember to fly like Pat and shine like command, for we are stuff dreams are made of. Bye now.